Hello everyone, welcome to the Physiotherapy tutorial channel. In this 10 minutes tutorial series, we'll be discussing about the nerve cells. Nerve cells are commonly called as the neurons, which forms the part of the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. Function of the nerve cell is basically to send and receive signals from your brain via the electrical signals and chemical nerve impulse. Central nervous system comprises of brain and spinal cord, and peripheral consists of the nerve emerging out of the spinal cord. CNS is often considered as a powerhouse and PNS as a cord that supplies information to the terminal organ system. While neurons have a lot in common with the other types of cells, they are structurally and functionally unique. A nerve cell consists of a cell body, which has a terminal projection called as dendrites, and a long specialized projection called as axons, which allows the neurons to transmit electrical and chemical signals to the other cells. Neurons can also receive the signals via root-like extension called as the dendrites. This is the nucleus and these are the dendrites. The terminal extension of the cell is called as the nerve endings. On the axons you have a specific covering which is called as the myelin sheath. So this particular area is basically your cell, which has a nucleus plus organelles which are responsible for synthesizing the nerve protein. This particular area is called as axons, which is covered with the help of the myelin sheath and the terminal nerve endings. Now, the nerve cells do not reproduce, nor do they regenerate. So axon is long and thin and protrude from the cell body like a tail and can be myelinated or unmyelinated. Axons are responsible for conducting electrical impulses in the form of the action potential away from the cell body. Now, neurons are basically of three types. The first type is the sensory neurons, second is the motor neurons, and third groups are the interneurons. Now, depending upon the function, they are classified into sensory, to sense the sensation of taste, smell and sound, which is generated basically through chemical inputs, and the touch, heat and light sensation generated by the physical inputs. Motor neurons are classified into two categories: upper motor neuron and the lower motor neuron. Upper motor neurons are basically found in brain and the spinal cord, and lower motor neurons from the spinal cord to the terminal organs. Interneurons are basically present in between the spinal cord and the brain, and it forms the internally circuits joining the sensation coming from sensory as well as motor. There are different forms of cells which are in the central nervous system, that is the neuroglial cells. Neuroglial cells consist of the glia and glia cells. These non-neuronal cells do not produce electrical impulses. The main function is homeostasis, form myelin sheath, provide support and protection for the neurons. These are basically of four types: astrocytes, oligodendrocytes, microglia and ependymal cells. Astrocytes are star-shaped and helps to moderate the level of neurotransmitter in the synaptic junction. The second type of cells are the oligodendrocytes, which helps to form the myelin sheath over the axon and also provides support to the axon. The third cells are the microglial cell, which helps to remove the debris post injury. These are also sometimes called as the immune cells. So there are two types, microglial cells and the macroglial cells. Astrocytes, oligodendrocytes, and the ependymal cells are the macroglial cells. Ependymal cells give support to the ventricles and the central canal of the spinal cord. So in all, this is the information about the nerve cells and the neuroglial cells in the CNS and PNS. The next cell which we are going to discuss is the muscle cell, also called as the myocytes. These are divided based on their appearances into a striated muscle cell and the non-striated muscle cells. Striated muscle cells are of two types: the voluntary skeletal muscle, responsible for the movement; involuntary cardiac muscle, also known as cardiac cardiomyocytes; and in non-striated you have involuntary smooth muscle cells. So muscle cells are of three types: the smooth muscles, cardiac muscles, and the skeletal muscles. Skeletal and cardiac muscle cells are known as striated due to the aligned arrangement of actin and myosin protein within them. Actin and myosin allows muscle contraction by sliding past one another, as described by the sliding filament theory. Now, skeletal muscle cells are attached to the bone and tendon and can reach up to 30 centimeters in length. These are in tubular form, multinucleated, and the striated appearance. They are multinucleated cells comprising of a cell membrane called as sarcolemma. Within the sarcolemma, you will find a fluid appearance like the cell cytoplasm called as the sarcoplasm. The powerhouse called as sarcosomes, and the sarcoplasmic reticulum, which makes two proteins, troponin and tropomyosin. This particular two proteins are responsible for actin and myosin to contract. This actin and myosin combines to form one individual muscle fibers, which bundles into fibrils, fibrioles, and fasciculi. Now, the second type of muscle cell is the cardiac cell, found in the heart. This cardiac cell, called as cardiomyocytes, are the striated, branched, uninucleated, and occurs in the heart cells. Next, we will discuss about the involuntary smooth muscle cells. These smooth muscle cells have a random arrangement, and that's the reason why they have the smooth appearance in contrast to that of the striated muscle cells. They are uninucleated, spindle shaped appearance, and mostly found in the inner and outer linings of the organs and cavities. So spindle shaped structure, uninucleated, and found in the linings of the internal organs.